As a tomato grower, I just want to let you know, I know what it's like when you're starting out and you're nervous. You're scared and you're just kind of fearing failure, right? Believe me, I feel the same way. I remember a time when me and my family lived in Kansas City, Missouri. I wanted to start my first tomato plant from seed. I really had no idea what I needed to do. I really did not have the equipment or even a grow light or whatsoever to be able to grow a tomato plant from seed. So I had to do some research and also some trial and error. But thank the good Lord, I was able to get a T5 high output grow light. This light was able to put out over 30,000 lumens of light, but let's just say that it was very, very bright. Now, this light right here allowed me to place my seedlings as about 6 inches away. This right here was very, very important because it actually kept my seedlings short and stocky. So that was how I was able to grow my first tomato plant, a brandywine tomato plant. Now, in your case, you may be just wanting to set up a garden. You never grew a garden before, but you want to know how to get started, right? Okay, well, let me show you what you can do to get started. Now, if you want to grow in a container, it really doesn't matter what size container you go for. Actually, I take that back. It actually does matter. The bigger type of tomatoes that you want to grow, the larger container that you do want to go with. But also try to get something that will literally stay within your own budget. You don't need to buy a 25-gallon container just to grow a micro tom or a red robin tomato plant. Those are the world's smallest type of tomatoes. They only grow maybe 6 inches to a foot tall, and they produce little cherry-sized tomatoes. You don't need to overkill on something like that. Container gardening is very, very rewarding, and it allows you to put your garden anywhere you want. If you have bad soil, if you have issues with pests or diseases or whatever in your soil, a container garden is a great way to go. Now, how do you set up a container garden? The container gardens that I have experience with is called self-watering containers. Now, when you're setting up a self-watering container, the first thing that you want to do is understand that you want to go with a soilless potting mix. Now, what I mean of a soilless potting mix, there's two types. You can go with a peat-based potting mix, or you can go with a cocoa coir-based potting mix. Now, know I said soilless, meaning there is no soil used in these mixes. Okay, no soil is used. You want your potting mix to provide good aeration, good retention of water, and also able to give nutrients to your plants without locking them up or keeping them away from your plant roots. Now, when you're setting up a soilless gardening system with a container, now do not use potting soil. Why I say that? Over time, soil will compact and it makes it very, very difficult for oxygen to get to your roots. That right there will cause a problem called root rot. You don't want that to happen. That's why you want a nice, light, fluffy mix, which will give you oxygenation, hydration, and nutrition. Those right there are the three things that you want to be concerned about when it comes to setting up a container garden for tomatoes. You got your container, you got your potting mix. The next thing you want to do, get your tomato plant. Now, there are 3 B's that you want to remember about a tomato plant. Buy young, buy early, buy 4-inch pots. Buy young because you do not want a tomato plant that is old, maybe to the point of where it wants to start fruiting or whatever. You don't want to buy a tomato plant that is inside of a 4-inch pot, smaller than a 4-inch pot, I'm sorry. Because once that tomato plant gets so big inside of a 4-inch pot, the plant's going to be stressed. And when it's stressed, it's going to try to go into the fruiting phase way too early than what it needs to be. This is not good for the plant. When it's stressed, the plant's not going to do very, very well. It's just opening up the door to diseases, telling the diseases, hey, I'm available here. Come and attack me and eat me. Buy your plants young, buy them early, and do not buy a tomato plant that is not in a 4-inch container. Now, you got your tomato plant. The next thing you want to do is take your tomato plant and take off the first couple leaves at the bottom. Now, the reason why I tell you this right here is because on the stem of your tomato, they got these little hairs on there. Those little hairs, once they make contact with your soilless potting mix, are going to send out new roots. Those new roots are what we call advantageous roots. The reason why they call that right there is because they literally do grow out the side of the plant, thereby giving you a more robust plant, a stronger plant, and a healthier plant. Well, I hope this advice helps you out, and I hope it helps you get started in being able to grow your own tomatoes and to be able to set up a good, successful garden. I'm John Jr. I'm the Tomato Man. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Bye bye.